Hey everybody, it's Monday, March 11th, Moon Day, and I've been feeling very moony ever since the new moon went in Pisces, and with Mercury retrograde in Pisces, I've been very kind of low key in Pisces energy, and I'm a moon in Pisces, so I've been very reflective on, especially since I've become more aware of cycles where they are right now. The emotions I've been experiencing the last few days are have brought awareness to my Pisces side more, and honestly my Pisces shadow side, because I think I tend to romanticize different aspects of my birth chart in a way. We all do, but it's good to focus on the positive side of it. But my Pisces moon is very dreamy and sensitive, and it's intuitive and semi-psychic or whatever, but it's also my shadow side of it is abandonment and insecurity and isolation and sadness. So that's all very real too. And so I've been feeling some of that the last few days. So I've been a little low key, but I woke up today on a Monday feeling better. I feel like it kind of broke. That energy broke. So I was glad. I tortured myself a little doing yoga yesterday, and maybe that helped break it too. It's feel the burn physically, and I feel like it helps your emotional burn go sometimes. But so let's do a little reading. It's Mystic Mondays. It's Monday, so we'll do a little Mystic Mondays, starting with, the way I've been pulling cards. I always kind of pull from the top. Sometimes I'll spread them out and pull randomly. But sometimes, especially the last few days, cards are they pop out. And it's they're waving at you, they're trying to talk to you. And so this one did that. And also, I would like to note that the other day, it was just yesterday. Sometimes when you do too much tarot, you get lost in a time warp because there is no time, which is funny too because the time just changed. But time is a funny thing. But what am I saying? Oh yeah, yesterday I was sitting here doing some tarot readings and I just had the chills the whole time. That's all I can say is I just had goosebumps, and I'm who's here? Who's talking to me through these cards right now? So that's kind of how I feel. It's just a heightened energy, And so anyway, let's get started. This is the one that came out, and it is the Fool. So the Fool is new beginnings. It's the beginning of the major arcana. So it's can be very positive energy. It's also innocent, naive. I mean, look at her. She's running. It's hey bitch, you're about to jump off that thing. Be careful. Because that's the thing too, is that energy can make you a fool. You don't want to be foolish. You do need to watch where you're going and be grounded. But that energy is good for us too. It's good to feel youthful. It's kind of a childlike energy, And there's a really positive side to that too. I feel sort of what I'm getting with this too is sometimes I think people are afraid of being a fool. If you're afraid of following your heart, of doing something that others might think is naive or that isn't going to work out, or trusting someone that other people you shouldn't trust that person, but you do anyway. And you're afraid of being the fool for feeling that way, But don't be afraid. I mean, look, she's happy. She didn't fall off yet. She's still safe. The sun is shining. She's got that flower in her hand. So, I think overall, the Fool's energy is a good energy. It's a positive energy. And so then I noticed I'd put a deck away, and this was at the bottom of it, the same one. So he was hoo-hoo, I'm waving at you. The Fool, again, is cute little birdie. So I just think engage that energy within yourself, that youthful, positive, fresh start energy. It is spring soon, so don't be afraid to be a fool. You're not a fool for following your heart or whatever it is. And I say follow your heart because the way this reading went is kind of romantic. I don't know why, but I pulled this from Mystic Mondays under the Fool, because we just have two fools here, these two fools. And underneath the first Fool from Mystic Mondays was the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is very similar in a way. It is about nostalgia, sentiment. It's about routine, memories, things that you remember fondly, positively, romantically, if you will. And I love this the Six of Cups in general is a beautiful card in most decks. I like this one because I noticed when I was looking at it today when I pulled it that it's really highlighting two cups, you know? And sometimes when I pull it, I think it's the Two of Cups. I'm like, oh no, it's the Six of Cups because it's got the four around it. So I feel like in that way, the Six of Cups is kind of romantic. Like it's about nostalgia and memories, but there's really two cups here. Like there's a union there, and like it's almost like this is the union. These are sort of the surrounding memories and emotions. And so I was just thinking how it looks like the Two of Cups, but it's actually the Six of Cups. And then wouldn't you know it, I pulled, this is why it reminded me of it, is because of the Two of Cups in the Wild Unknown, which I use all the time. They look so similar, but this is the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups is more about union, romance, love, emotional connection. I've heard that a lot too, because we always think of this as romance, and it is, but it's also like the Two of Cups ultimately is a deep emotional connection between two people, which more often than not can be romantic, you know? And so it's like this deep emotional connection you have. Sometimes it can like breed, especially if you're not around the person or it's in the past or I don't know, or even if you are together and just things change. Things are always changing, and you may be reflecting on a time, you know, when things were different or better, just feeling nostalgic or romantic. And that's sort of like that Fool energy too. Just like, I guess it's kind of like a fool in love, if you will, but like a fool, like sort of dreaming about the past and nostalgia. And, you know, I get the Fool, and I was thinking about not worrying about being a fool or looking like a fool for following your heart or being a fool in love or whatever, because I pulled the Two of Cups. So it's like this sort of Fool energy, I think, is playing into some like romantic dynamics. And then these two came out together, which again kind of speaks to this. These two came out together, the King and Queen of Swords. Oh, look at that beautiful union right there. Although he's a little scary to me, the King of Swords. But that's just interesting. The two, like that's definitely like a pair, a union there, the King and Queen of Swords. But the first thing I thought too when I pulled him first under the Fool was I kind of like, I don't love the King of Swords energy. Especially like in this deck, he scares me kind of. And I think the King of Swords a lot of time is I see it like, I want to say in men, but in women too, where I think the King of Swords is sort of that cold side of us that like tries to like block emotion. Like I feel like the King of Swords definitely, the King of Swords side of someone might definitely fight this romantic union. And I definitely feel like the King of Swords is someone like he's sort of being like, he's the voice in your head that's like, don't be a fool, you know, don't do something stupid, like stay sharp, like stay poised, like be smart. And I don't really like that energy that much. I mean, I get it, dude. Like I know you need to be wise and be smart and be sharp, but also like engage your childlike side, engage your playful, youthful, hopeful side. You know, you don't have to be so serious all the time, but at least he does have, even this kind of mean King of Swords, he's got love in his life. We all need some love. He has his Queen of Swords, you know, and she's sharp too. She can be cutting, she can be detached, but she is probably, you know, I feel like the queens are always a little bit softer than the kings. So she's like the same energy as him, that sharp intellect. But, you know, the feminine side, so always like sort of the divine masculine, divine feminine, and the swords are air, so it's your intellect. So look at that couple, aren't they cute? Okay. So I just feel like that's a little bit of like a love reading, like falling in love or feeling love can be like a young, naive, foolish thing to feel, you know, and like sometimes your like mean dad or whatever is like, no, that's not real. That's not love. So I say, don't listen to that totally. That's always going to be my advice, is to like engage in the nostalgia, engage in the romance and the emotion, and like let yourself go. Don't be held back by your King of Swords energy. And kind of along with him from the Flower Oracles, I got Strength. I mean, it's always just, I think, a positive reminder that you're stronger than you think you are. And this card is about confidence and calm. I mean, these two are both very strong, confident, calm, cool, collected folks right here. And there's a positive side to that. You know, I mean, even if you're like sort of romantic at heart, you know, it's good to be confident, calm, cool, collected. Show your strength, know your strength, just trust your own strength. And then also from the Flower Oracle, I got visualization, which I've never gotten, which is a really beautiful card. And it's basically saying that your dreams are coming true. It's saying make a wish. It's saying that positive things that you've been hoping for are potentially going to be manifesting. And I've been reading that and hearing that a lot lately. I don't know, maybe the spiritual people are just like blowing smoke up our ass. Like there's something great just around the corner. It's like always. But isn't there always something great around the corner? Probably, you know. But anyway, visualization means that like, it was talking about psychic gifts, intuitive gifts, it was talking about creative projects becoming jobs, which is kind of cool. It's about like sort of your dreams coming true. It's about, you know, visualizing what you want and seeing it come into fruition. And this card is a sign that maybe some of the things that you've been envisioning are going to come into fruition soon. You know, whether that's this or, you know, sometimes tapping into the past, you sort of can go back to that place, recreate it in the now. And then, of course, I always pull from the Whispers of Love. I can't help it. Okay. Show simple acts of kindness. A simple act of kindness can energize you and bring happiness to those around you. So that's pretty sweet and straightforward. You know, I think that card, he looks a little bit like a fool. He looks like a little boy or little girl being sweet to the animals. I think that innocent, sort of loving, childlike nature is positive for all of us. You know, that's sort of the roots of love, if you will. And I like him too because he's kind of the opposite of this guy right here. So just be nice. I feel like it's showing kindness, and I feel like some of the people I've been around lately we're all struggling a little bit. So we should be nice to each other. We should be nicer to each other. It's not that hard. And this one, I like when I get this card because it's just sweet. I love you. That's it. I love you, people. Whoever's watching, I love you. These are very important words. These are very important words. So there you go. I love you. I'm sure the King of Swords says I love you to the Queen every once in a while, even though he's mean, you know. So that's it. That's my reading for today, guys, for the week. Love. So kind of like some love messages. I think, you know, tap into your inner child. And I think there's a lot of love there. And it's funny, like when you think about the Fool and being a child, like, I don't know, we all want to hear I love you when we're growing up. And we probably don't say it enough or hear it enough as adults. So I love you. Peace out. Have a great week, everybody.